So you should see a packet of paper. There should be 6 empty chairs and a Sharpie and a stack of Post-its. So I'll explain what we are doing. Hang on 1 second. So I'm Miguel. That's Denise. We were criticized last year because we didn't have names. We're going to be together for about 70-something minutes. The first thing that's important, you're here because we want your opinion. Okay? So it doesn't have to be a consensus. If you have an individual opinion that is different than anybody else, that's completely fine because there are no right or wrong answers. Ground rules, or I should just say things to keep in mind as we are having this discussion. Silence your cell phones. We are recording, broadcasting. The reason we do that, one, so that we have reference material for later social media. No, kidding. So that we can share this information because ultimately this is a research study. If we tried to fit everyone in this room that actually wanted to see, it would be very uncomfortable, very hot, and we probably wouldn't have a whole lot of room. And ultimately, we're not too concerned with who you are. We are very concerned with what you have to say. And that's really the focus, is based on the feedback that you're going to give us based on specific things that we're either going to ask you to give us feedback on or tasks that we want you to complete. So in front of you is a Post-it note and a marker. The reason for the Post-it note and marker is ideally, not only are you going to be doing most of the talking, we provided the Post-it note and marker because I want to hear from everyone. So I'll ask a question. Most of the time, you're going to write the answer. There will be some times where I'll just ask for like a show of hand or just a quick answer. But you write your answer. Then I'll kind of go round robin in a couple of different ways to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to give feedback. If you want to piggyback on something that someone says, feel free. So even though I will be going in turn, that doesn't mean that you just can't converse as you normally would. Okay? No right or wrong answers. Everyone has a different perspective, different experiences, and ideally you want to hear from a wide range of opinions. Feedback is private, confidential. It stays here. And again, the most important thing is your opinion. So even if you're the only one saying something, which there's always one in every group, that's completely okay. All right? So for the first exercise, and for this one you don't have to write it down, in front of you there's a packet of paper. I'll ask that you don't move ahead of where I am, just to make sure that we're all focused on the same thing. For this first exercise, you don't have to write. I just want to kind of go around the room, and it's there on slide 3 or 2, 3. The get to know you. Name. Who is your cell phone service provider? How long have they been your provider? Why you chose them? And what is your current cell phone? Okay? And we'll start here, and we'll go to Ken.
Okay.
I said, I don't know how to say your name.
Lourdes.
Okay.
I feel like I'm talking to them. Okay, I always, my cell phone, my name is Lourdes Castellon. Cell phone provider is T-Mobile. I just switched to T-Mobile. I was with them for like 15 years, but then I went to Verizon for a year, and then I switched back to T-Mobile. Mm-hmm. So it's been like a year. And why I choose them? Because I thought it was better service than Verizon. Mm-hmm. And then my current phone is an iPhone X, X something. XR? Yeah, I'll tell you right now. It's always like, XR. Okay. Look at it all the time. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Lourdes, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I get that water?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yep, to the right, left, and then I'll leave the door propped open. was quick. Took me longer to try to get the door stop to work than it did for you to get water.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Let's continue.
Okay, my name is Rachel Parker. The cell phone service provider I had was Sprint.
Mhm.
I've been with them for like a year and some change, so
Okay.
I chose them, but I had Cricket, but Cricket was getting on my nerves by bad signaling
Mhm.
no matter where I go.
Okay.
So now the current phone I have is the LG from one of those phones.
LG?
Yes.
Okay.
So far I like it. So far I have no problems with it.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
My name is Mark Bermudez. My current provider is Metro PCS. I've been with them for since I was a kid. My mom got me my first cell phone, so I've been with them basically my whole life. I choose them. They're cheap. They have good data plans. And my current cell phone is a Galaxy S8.
Okay.
My name's Kellen Villa. My service provider is AT&T. I've been with them for like 2 years. Mommy and daddy pay for it. My cell phone's a broke down Galaxy S7 Edge.
Because mommy and daddy
Yeah.
No, because they don't pay for it.
Ken Myerson, cell phone providers T-Mobile, been with them just under a year. And I hate to age myself, but I was with AT&T before you were probably born then.
You'd be surprised.
When they came out with, not you, that gentleman, because I was working by the time cell phones came out. Anyway, so again, short period of time, I chose them honestly because of price. Family plan, the whole package and everything that went with it.
Okay.
And I was able to upgrade all the phones and still stay under the cost of what I was paying at AT&T.
Okay.
And I now have a Samsung Galaxy S10e, I think it's called.
Okay. All right. So for this first exercise, and this is one that you will be using the Post-its after you write your answers. If you want to, whether you use 1, 2, or more, just detach it from the stack that you have. Denise is going to come around after every round just to gather your Post-its. Just makes it easier for us to kind of organize ideas. So for the first one that you'll be using your Post-its for is think about the last time that you were in a physical retail location and you needed the help of someone that worked in that store. So the last time you actually went to a physical store and you needed the help of someone that was like an employee of that store. Okay?
What do you want, the
Yeah,
store?
what
What do you want?
The situation.
You want the store name?
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, if you could provide the store name, that would be helpful too.
Have a lunch, what if you don't have no answer for it?
I'm sorry?
What if you don't have no answer for it?
So never, and it doesn't necessarily have to be recently. I mean, it can be, just the last time it happened. We've had things happen as recently as yesterday and as far back as 2 or 3 years ago. And if you never ask for help, then you can just put, I never asked for help.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
You could use thinner sharp.
Oh.
I may have a pen.
Don't worry about it, don't worry about it.
Well, so the reason that we use fat Sharpies is so that you intentionally write big so that it's easier for us to read. Because keep in mind, we have a lot of groups and you're sticking them somewhere. So if you have them where it's really thin, then everybody has to get super close by design. Not necessarily best, because I know it makes it difficult to actually write. So we'll start with Mark and work our way around to
Okay, so mine was at just Walmart to buy a, controller for a video game console. At that point, they have everything locked up and they have to get someone with the key to unlock it.
Mhm. Okay, so access to a product.
Yeah.
Okay.
Walmart, the self-checkout machine ran out of money and I wanted to get cash back, got $100 cash back and they only gave me 70.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was the worst experience. Like I started crying and stuff because the manager nobody could help me except the manager, and I was in a really big hurry. I was going to be late. I almost lost my job, and I shouldn't have got $100 out. But yeah. Anyway, long story short, the manager was extraordinarily rude.
Wow.
So rude. Didn't even speak to me. Like, he stopped and like spoke to some other customer that ahead of me, and yeah, it just was.
That's weird.
Yeah, okay.
No, it really was. No.
30% charge for your money.
Yeah. Right.
Ken?
Best Buy is the same thing. I needed access to help get a MacBook as my kid for Christmas.
Doris?
Yeah, I went to Walmart, bought a phone because I wanted to add my mother to my plan.
Uh-huh.
But I had to buy her because a flip phone, so I didn't know where to go. And I was asking them, but it wasn't, I didn't get it there. Ended up going back to T-Mobile. So that was the last time I got help on it.
Okay.
He never asked for help.
Never ask for help.
No.
Don't need.
I like to do things on my own.
Uh-huh.
Or normally my boyfriend normally does it because he's the one asks all the questions.
Right.
I just stand in my little corner. So that's why.
Okay. So for the second question, and this will be another Post-it. Think about a time you were shopping in a physical store location, ideally electronics or something where, let's say, you had a question about the product that you were going to buy. What types of questions did you have about the product, and what specifically were you shopping for? So this is different than the first. The first is really, hey, I needed help doing something, so I'm calling a store employee. With this one, it's a little bit more specific. I'm looking for a product. I want more information about that product, so I need someone to answer the following questions for me. And again, it doesn't matter what it is, but what was the product and what questions did you have about that product?
I usually tend to not do that. I'll do my research online.
Okay.
So just what I would research online.
You can do that, but I would also, yeah, I mean, if you want to write down, I don't ask store associate questions, and I typically do it on my own. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Personal.
I'm used to
Sharpies are the best.
You're in about 15 more seconds. All right, so we'll start with Rachel and work our way back to Mark.
It was a shoes that was online that I wanted, and they say they had it in the store.
Mhm.
But when I ordered it online, and when I went there, they said it was ready. When I got there, no, they never had it
Mhm.
or anything. They told me I had to go to a different store, but I asked them, why you guys had this online and say this in store?
Mhm.
But now y'all send it to a different store, and when I asked them for a refund, they won't give it to me.
Wow.
So
So you had to speak to someone, what, for the refund to get the product?
yeah, I had to get the product because I had it's, when you order from Walmart,
Uh-huh.
you can pick it up yourself.
Right.
But when I got there, they told me it wasn't there, but they will send me an email telling me it's ready to be picked up.
Okay.
But when I got there, they never had it in stock. But online, they say it was in stock.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay. Lourdes.
Okay, I went to
Is it
T-Mobile.
Lourdes or Lords?
Lourdes,
Lourdes.
that's Lourdes in Europe.
It's also a school, right?
Yeah, but it's Lourdes, it's the Lourdes.
Okay.
So I went to T-Mobile after, and that's when I went to questions about the flip phone
Right.
and the service and what does I have to do about it and what does it cost, so all the things. And so I ended up, that was the last time, because I just got it a couple days ago.
Mhm.
So that was the questions I had about the flip phone
Question
and T-Mobile.
Okay. And Kennedy.
Mine was electronic picture frames and could cycle through.
Okay.
So I was asking questions about memory, the warranty, If it's wireless, you got to plug the thing in.
Mhm.
And then, of course, the best cost to value ratio, trying to figure out which is the best one that I want to utilize.
Okay.
So I seem to keep going back to Best Buy. They have a monopoly on electronics.
To the best way of brand one, I guess.
I'm not a fan of BrainSmart.
Yeah.
Bought junk from there before.
Kellen, right?
Yes. Cell phone at AT&T. I just had a question, like, the price was relatively the same, I think. I don't know, it was a while ago, but iPhone XS Max versus the XR.
Mhm.
I like that, I guess the 10S versus 10R, whatever. And, yeah, I like,
So the differences between
Yeah.
two handsets?
yeah, like whether, yeah, it was my boyfriend and I were shopping for a phone.
Mhm. Okay. And Mark?
Yeah, I usually just don't bother asking store associates questions. I just look it up online at that point.
Okay. Okay. For this next one, this is specifically around the display. There's the tent card, which has the same image as this. Just to give you some context, this is in a Walmart store. It's a specific cell phone service provider, in this case Straight Talk. You see handsets, you see like dummy phones, you see service plans, and you see this up top. So what I would like for all of you to write on your Post-its, to finish the sentence, when I see this sign, the first thing that comes to mind is, when I see this sign, the first thing that comes to mind is. And we are going to start with Ken, and we're going to work our way around to Lourdes.
Customer service in the United States.
Customer service in the United States. And what's the relevance of the United States?
Because most of the time you end up this is third world country, people barely speak English.
Okay.
She's funny.
She looks like she might be here in the U.S. and not in some Cambodia or India or Asia somewhere. I may be totally wrong, but, you know, they put a proper picture out there.
Okay. Ellen?
She's pretty. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, same thing, customer service.
Okay, I thought you said you were going to,
Well, pretty.
yeah, I thought you were going to say.
Yeah.
Okay, customer service?
Yeah, well, I work in the call center, so for me, it's like I see that and it's just, I get the flash of work.
Mhm.
Okay.
Good product and service.
Huh?
Good product and service.
Good product, good service? Okay.
Yeah, service, help, questions, you know, give me 3.
Okay. So the next question, what is the purpose of the communication and what do you think they are trying to communicate?
The same piece.
Exactly, yeah.
Not the rest
So,
of them.
so the same, only just kind of focused on this, the same tent card in the middle.
Mhm.
Purpose, what are they communicating? We're going to start with Mark and work our way around to Rachel.
Okay. What I see is that help is available if needed. If you literally have questions, chat with us right now.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Face-to-face customer service is the priority for them.
Face-to-face customer service? Okay.
Put customer service live through QR code.
Customer service live through QR code.
We're scanning to get to them.
Okay,
You don't know the phone number on that.
okay.
Answer questions, customer service, same thing. Just with scanning. That's good.
Okay, and I have a question about scan next.
I mean, just activation or setup or something.
Activation or setup?
Yes.
Okay. So, it says that there's a couple of different things on the bottom. By show of hands, how many people would know what to do with this? Okay, everybody knows? Okay. For the next question, keeping in mind the context of what is here. So again, in Walmart, most of you have been to Walmart before. Okay, so Walmart in the back, the electronics, you know what is in the electronics and everything that's back there. Here are phones, putting yourself in the mind of a shopper. I am looking for something. I may have questions about Straight Talk service, and I see this. So the question is, and again, this will be on your Post-its, for you personally, if you were shopping in this section and had questions, would you use this type of service? Why or why not? So
As
for
in
you-
like the QR code.
Correct, yeah. So if, based on, everybody has an assumption of what this is. If you were shopping in this section, and specifically about the have questions chat with us now face-to-face, if you were shopping, had questions, would you use this type of service? Why or why not? So we'll start with Rachel and work our way back to Mark.
I say yes because it's like easy and much faster.
Easy and much faster than what?
I'm used to doing, all I had to do is just scan it and then it would pop up and just follow the directions, but it'd be much easier for me to do.
Okay. And are you, in your mind, are you comparing it to something else or maybe a previous experience where it wasn't necessarily faster or easier?
Yeah, I compared it to something else to my old phone.
Uh-huh.
And it is much easier because I did have the XR
Uh-huh.
before. It was kind of complicated for me. So I use that much easier for me to understand.
Okay. Lori?
Yes, faster getting questions answered because in Walmart you can't get anybody quick.
Okay.
So definitely.
And when you say you can't get anybody quick?
Like you have to
you're-
wait around for him to be available to answer any questions. I could, that would be automatic.
Okay. So with the both of you, common thing that you both mentioned was just around speed or?
Yeah,
Yes.
just more like getting it quick,
Okay.
not waiting around.
Okay.
Yeah, I tried that. No, you
Okay.
gotta wait like 20 minutes for at least for one simple question.
Well, I'm willing to wait because I said no, I go get the employee at the store. Because multiple things. One, I don't have that phone yet.
Mhm.
I can text, but whether that charges me or not, just to talk to this person and
Mhm.
whether they are in the U.S. or somewhere else, may determine costs that
So-
you incur.
So I want to go back to one of the first things you said. You said you don't have that phone yet. What do you mean by that?
I don't have that company that they're broadcasting. I don't have a link or whatever, Straight Talk.
Uh-huh.
So I'm using a different provider.
Okay.
So there can be a cost to me that's not, because I'm using a different provider.
Okay.
That to me still says you have questions and stuff, but you need to utilize that provider
Mhm.
to go through the question system without having additional costs on you.
Mhm.
And then if you decide not to even go with them, now you just endured other costs on your other device.
Right.
So I still look to a live human being in front of me that I can have a honest conversation with that,
Mhm.
whether they have any clue what they're talking about at Walmart or not, but,
Right.
because I know most of the products in that store, they're not
Mhm.
that well aware of,
Right.
but maybe, you're in the electronic side for a reason.
Okay.
I would hope they educate them a little bit.
Okay.
And that's actually on Straight Talk, not on Walmart.
You're talking about the education
The
of the,
education
like,
of the
employees?
products. Yep.
About the products, okay,
They have reps that go in these stores.
okay. Kellen?
No, it's too complicated. I asked an employee. Like the whole QR code thing is just foreign to me. I've never really used it before. I understand the concept and stuff, but
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
They don't work, by the way.
Yeah, it's just-
I've used them on products before
The QR codes?
that I've sold.
Okay,
I put them on there, we've taken them off.
okay. And when you say they don't work,
You're not getting many people utilize it.
Yeah, I've never used, if I see it, I mean, it could say win $1 million and I, not really, probably would do it, but regardless, it's just not something that I think is very,
I don't use them either,
yeah.
okay.
personally.
Mark?
Yeah, and I'd have to agree with them. I'd just rather ask an electronics associate. You would assume that they're trained, they're selling that
Uh-huh.
the whole day, God knows how long they work there, they should know what's going on. And I feel like that's easier than the QR.
Okay. So for this next exercise, I'm going to give everyone a handset. Take one and pass it down. Take one and pass it down. Oh, there's only two of you.
Oh, we're gonna get to talk to them.
All right, so for the next series of steps, I need for you guys to kind of stay with me. That one has a pin on it.
Oh, yeah, this one I couldn't remember. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. I also put the sticker on the back.
Okay. So what I would like everyone to do, and for the first step, and then I'll come around and actually ask a couple of questions. Okay, so what I'd like to do is go around the room, starting with Ken. You don't have to write this down, and just tell me what that first step was in order to initiate a chat. What did you do, Ken?
I went to the texting thing and dialed 611-611.
Okay. Kellen?
I just opened up the text.
Okay.
No, open up texting up.
I updated the text.
Okay.
Same here.
Okay. So everybody
Sorry, I took
text?
step two.
Yes.
Okay. So step 2, everyone should have received a text message link, correct?
Oh, we were supposed to send it?
Yes. Sorry, Ken. You are meticulous with following instructions. So after you complete that first step,
You press on the link? Yeah.
Once you have the link, let's go ahead and press on it.
I didn't get on.
There.
Wait, six,
Not help there.
611, 611.
Yeah.
No, not help.
Live.
Oh, live.
If you need help with the message, let me know, but after you click on the link, let's wait a second or two until everybody gets to the same place. Do you need a little bit of help, Rachel?
Yes, I'm having difficulty.
Here, so I'm actually going to give you this one because
What does yours look, Kevin?
Mine,
That's still loading. Ken is loading. Mark is loading.
Another, did it.
there you go.
Okay.
I think I timed out.
All right.
So Mika, we just want to see what happens after they click the link, correct?
Correct, yeah, so everybody go ahead and click on the link.
Okay. Mark and Ken are still loading. Callan is on a screen that
Interesting.
says companion web browser you're
Amazing.
using does not support audio-visual communications. Please use Chrome or Firefox for a better experience. How would we do? Open in browser.
Yeah, so you're going to click on the three buttons and click on open browser. Oh, yeah,
To now install.
yep, open in browser, yep. You're there, okay. So, what I would like everyone to do, everyone now has the browser where you can see yourself.
Unfortunately.
So what I'd like everyone to do is to go ahead and initiate a chat.
Do we use our real name?
You can use whatever name you like.
Do we use our own phone number? Oh, it's optional.
It's optional, just be faster.
What do you think is happening right now after you entered that?
It's going to somebody on the other end to answer their side.
Okay.
And there she is. Doesn't look anything like.
My name is Carolina.
Hello.
That's Karen.
I'm good, thank you for asking.
Rachel?
Now I can tell you. We've got a lot of other people on the phone.
I don't know, I'm in a study.
Fine.
What did I get?
I don't know.
I don't know what to do right now.
I have a lot of questions to ask you.
So bear with me.
I don't know.
I don't know. We dealt with the test call.
Yes, test call, I guess. Right? There you go.
Okay,
Yes,
so
test call.
So now
first
that,
of all, what is your iPhones that you have?
so once everybody's connected, feel free to hang up.
Have a good day.
Have a
Bye.
good day. Bye.
Yep, you too.
Are you interested in a specific one?
No, not really, but I just wanted to ask if you have any. Thanks.
Yes, we have the new welcome.
That's all I needed really for right now.
Okay.
All right, thank you for
Thank
being
you.
face to face. Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.
So the first question that I ask, and we're actually going to do another call, and I want to spend, yeah, go ahead, hang on.
How?
We're going to spend a little bit of time on the user interface. What I'd like, and we're going to write this down on our Post-its, what are your first impressions of this service? What do you think about it now that you've had a chance to use it?
You're stuck on that, like, not being from America.
Yep. You can barely understand her too.
That's annoying.
Yes.
Actually, AT&T is really bad with that.
Very bad,
It really
Most
is.
companies
I've been,
because they outsource it because it's really cheap.
I've been so frustrated.
So we're going to start with Mark and work our way around to Rachel.
I mean, what was good about it is that it's quick and they do seem to have good customer service skills just from the quick 20 or 30 seconds, but I'm not a fan. I usually don't really like doing that kind of stuff.
Doing what kind of stuff?
Thought it was interesting.
Okay. Rachel?
Quick and easy, but I'd rather face to face. Because they can hang up anytime while you're in a conversation with them, so.
I can see they're lying.
But it's quick and easy, but I just rather be right there in case if I can't operate it, I'd rather hands-on.
Mhm. Okay. So for this next task, let's say that you did not want to video chat, right? So you want to take advantage of the service, but you just want the talking aspect without the face-to-face or video interaction. What I'd like for each of you to do is, again, initiate that call and try to do voice only without video. And then when we're done, I'm just going to ask you whether or not you were successful and talk a little bit about the user interface.
Going straight to face-to-face, my name is Carolina. May I have, are you Mr. Mark?
Yes, hi, this is just.
Hello. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, we were just doing information on this.
Hello.
Okay. We're going straight to say hi.
I'm good. How are you?
It's just a test.
Just to
call.
let you know, this is a test call.
Yeah, I don't need anything.
Hi.
Just bear with me here,
Hold
okay?
on, I'm trying just to
You're
get,
very much welcome. You have a good day.
You too.
try not to get, hold on, I'm trying not to get camera, but I'm
Yeah,
having
there
a
you
problem.
I guess I'm gonna
Try
hang
to
up
have
now.
the,
She was
my
hanging, she was
name.
hanging up on me. That's
I don't know about
it. She's saying goodbye. I could see her, but she's not seeing me.
We're just waiting on, as soon as Rachel has a chance.
I'm not getting anything.
Yeah, mine's just doing this.
I think she was in training
Right, and why would you say that?
because she then spoke in another language to a guy that was just outside the picture and then he did something, I think, because she couldn't see my video.
Okay.
I don't know what she said, but then she went back to it and greeted me.
Okay.
It look like I'm not even one.
Yeah, it didn't go for me either.
And what is it, just,
Just click no video. It's not coming.
okay, so in your case, you're not seeing anything at all, and in your case, you're not seeing anything at all either.
Because you can touch one like this and set something. in
Download
foreign
video,
language.
see?
It wasn't Spanish, it wasn't French, it wasn't Italian.
Yeah.
It was definitely.
Yeah.
So I can connect,
That guy looked.
and then I just try not to.
It wasn't Portuguese, it wasn't French.
Maybe she just said it quickly. So say, Ken, Kellen, and Mark, you were able to connect the second time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see, yes, you can't, because she's a model.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's business.
Yeah, so, and hang on, let me make sure that I capture that. So yours isn't doing anything.
Mm-mm.
And on Rachel's phone, it says that it's connected up top, but you don't see or hear anyone.
Correct.
Okay. And that's fine. So for those of you that were able to connect again, were you able to do voice only without video?
I think so,
And how, why would you
because I
say?
clicked off the video.
Uh-huh.
I didn't click off the microphone.
Okay.
And she seemed confused on the other end.
Okay. So other than you clicking, was there any, I guess, notification or
Yeah, it popped
confirmation?
up that there's a circle line.
Okay.
The video camera.
Okay.
So I'm guessing it worked.
Okay. Kelly?
I didn't notice anything. I didn't know. I don't know.
Were you able to
Connect?
connect and then,
Just across the video camera.
Mark?
Yeah, and I got the same thing, the circle with the cross through and then video mute.
Okay. For this next question, and it's going to be written on your Post-its, on a scale from 1 to 5, with 1 being very unlikely and 5 being very likely, how likely would you be to use a service like this? And then, of course, explain your answer.
5 likely, right?
Correct. So 1 very unlikely and 5 very likely. All right, so we're going to start with Mark, and then we're going to work our way over to Rachel.
All right, so I put a 1 just because I prefer either an in-store interaction or just like an automated online kind of deal. Like I said, I'm not really a fan of like FaceTime, even if it's just with the camera mute.
Mhm.
I'm just more comfortable doing it, the other way.
And the other way,
Just either in-store, over the phone, something automated, just not like a video. That and, technology, information gathering as it is, I don't like when this asks for your permission to use your camera, I hate giving apps like this my permission and all that kind of stuff. So,
okay. Okay. Kelly?
I'd rather just use a store employee in person.
Rather use a store employee.
Or, yeah, just,
Okay.
I put 2, but rather still have an in-person assistance.
In-person assistance, being someone.
Live in the store, wherever.
Okay.
Face-to-face contact with a real human being live, like this.
Okay. Horace?
I would like to use it because I don't know time to be going to the store all the time,
Mhm.
So if I have a question about my phone, I want it right there.
Mhm.
And I think it was quicker than waiting on the phone for customer service. So,
Okay.
I put
Rachel?
4. I didn't like the video chat. I could see the person because when I tried to call, it didn't went through.
Right. Okay. For this next question, this is going to be referencing the sign. So the TED card or the sign that's on top of the display. Now that you know what the service is, let's look at the sign again. And the question that I have is, does the sign do a good job of letting you know what the service is about? So now that you've actually used it, does the sign do a good job of letting you know what the service is about and why or why not? All right, we'll start with Rachel and work our way back to Mark.
I say yes, because you got the rep as soon as possible.
I said yes because it says it all right there, so it's easy.
It does let you know, but now that I read the fine print, it answers my question earlier. Messages and data rates may apply.
And what does that mean to you?
That means I'm going to get charged on my own personal carrier.
Okay.
So I'm being charged to use their service to learn about their product.
Okay.
Yeah, it tells you what to expect. Like, I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, and I put the same thing. It's just very straightforward, very to the point. You know, there's not too many words in there. You text and you're there. You know.
Which I can say I'm not too far away from that.
So next question, again, thinking about the entire experience that you just went through. You're in store, you're shopping for phones or service plans, you have questions, you decided to initiate the chat, thinking about everything that you went through in order to make that chat happen, what would you do to improve upon that experience? So thinking about the entire experience that you just went through in the context of, hey, I'm in a Walmart store and I'm doing all of this, what would you do to improve upon that experience? And we're going to use our Post-it notes for that one. We'll start with Mark, and then we'll work our way around to Rachel.
All right. So what I put is that either add a phone number, just if you prefer just doing it over the phone, or using like a chat-based text service, just people have their preferences. And my logic is if we can get someone over video that fast, you know, they're just ready at their computers, they could just be answering text as well, you know.
Okay, and when you say chat-based service, what are you referring to?
Well, at least at my job, I work as a call center supervisor, right? So we have a chat service for the agents that either work from home or, like he said, we have an outsourced call center in El Salvador. So we have a chat service that's just, hey, this guy doesn't want to call us, but he's having this issue with a customer. He needs this answer. Can you help him out?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I would just send him, hey, send him through to me, or hey, this is what he has to say, and send him on his way.
Okay. And is chat something you would more likely use than?
Yeah, usually if it's something that I could just, you know, send a text, hey, I have a question on this, and then I get a text back, you know, more likely I'd probably use that.
Okay.
Yeah, include a chat option. I like that. Like just a text-based chat.
Ken?
I still have a local rep from Straight Talk in the store.
Local,
Speak to a Straight Talk rep in the Walmart
okay, so a rep physically
From the
located
in the store.
in the store.
And I've got 30 of them, but I still have one.
Right.
To be able to answer even further questions, because I run through scripts, you call these calls.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily the most well-versed on what to do. It's a
Right.
better checklist and steps and so forth. And you can be a lot faster with a human life right in front of you that's knowledgeable of the product.
Okay.
Well, now that I read the fine print,
And
I would be showing the cost that applies when you use it. You know?
And when you say fine print, what are we referring
You're
to?
saying that, you know, it might cost you to use them?
Oh, so you are referring to, and Ken, you're saying the same
Data
thing?
rates may apply.
You're looking down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of fine print on that.
So I don't want to be surprised.
My
I
eyes
think they
aren't
should
that good.
let people be aware of what they're going to be spending when they use them.
Okay. And for the, so, before, well, Rachel, go ahead and answer, then I want to ask a question specifically about this.
I agree with Mark and Kellen, chat option.
Mm.
So I agree with what they say.
A chat option,
Yes.
okay? Did anyone, so by show of hands, how many noticed the, kind of the fine print about message and data rates?
After.
As you know, I'm few into it. A few minutes into being here.
For me, it was different because this phone, I guess it hadn't been used and they didn't check that little pop-up that the Android will show you where it says data rates may apply or whatever may apply.
Okay. Okay. So knowing that you saw this message, what type of charge, and we can kind of go around the room, what type of, I guess, message and data rates are you expecting to pay, or message and data rates, how does that apply if it was your own personal phone?
Well, if it's your own phone and your own service, it's included in the plan I'm with. If it's outside the service, and I'm calling somebody else and you get the warning, I'm thinking I'm going to be charged by the second, depending on how long I'm on the phone with them. And then depending on how they prorate that, what the charge is from the current carrier.
Okay. Kelly?
Yeah, I mean, I usually, when I see that, I don't really think too much about it because my parents pay for it.
Can I meet your parents?
Yeah.
I got 4 phones I can pay for. if they want.
Mark?
For me, it's the same thing, except I don't, usually when that happens, if it's something that I trust or something that I'm actively looking for, I'll accept it. Usually I don't see that reflected on my bill because I have, the unlimited talk, text, web. So I don't really ever see any extra charges on top of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Me, I don't like extra charges at all, especially if I don't have the money for it.
Yeah, I don't want to be surprised with no extra charge. I don't need to, for a question that I'm paying a phone for, to charge you for a question. I just think it's unheard of.
Okay. For the last question, I just want to ask, because we're kind of split as far as who would use and who wouldn't use, I'd like to know, and we can write this on the Post-its, who is this service for? If you could describe the type of person that this service would be most helpful for. Who would actually utilize this?
Is that what that was called?
Again. Not Gen X, not Gen Y, Gen
Not
Z.
millennials anymore either. So I just put an age group.
All right, we'll start with Rachel and we'll go back to Mark.
I have nothing.
Okay.
Nobody will use it in her opinion, it sounds.
Nothing because,
I can't think of nothing.
okay. Lourdes?
I think all ages from teens to elderly will use it. I
Mhm.
don't see why they wouldn't.
Okay. And why would you say that it applies to that group?
Because I could see it like a teenager coming and like going and thinking it's cool to go in there and chat, with someone. And I could see my mother, going in there, just texting that and doing it, so.
Okay.
So between that, it's all the same.
25 and younger.
25
I
and
don't know
younger.
what you're going to call that generation now,
Yeah.
but
Youngins.
yeah, 25 and younger. They're a little more into most, I should say, not to be too stereotypical. They're a little more into that live, easy access, everything type of, oh, I got a face in front of me.
Mhm.
I think the elderly would be scared.
Yeah.
Some may like it. Oh, cool. Wow, look at that. Where are
Yeah,
you?
I think so.
But outside of that, I think they'd be more scared.
Well, it depends, yeah.
And-
But still, I can see
and-
people, I know.
And as you get older, you get a little more private with your world and your information. And that's why I say 25 and younger.
Kellen?
I said Gen Z, I guess.
Oh, I thought that was a 2.
No, Gen Z.
Gen Z and why?
I'm 31, so like, younger than me. I don't even know what generation I'd be, but I guess just like teenager-ish, like maybe 20, I don't know, just younger than me, younger than 20. Younger than 30.
I put either non-tech savvy people or just younger than, I'm 23 and I personally wouldn't use it, so maybe younger kids, but
Just close my
yeah.
Okay. All right. And that was it. Right?
Cool.
Yeah, okay. So thank you. We are going back to the lobby and you're going to check out with the receptionist. And after that, you are free to go.
We don't get to keep the phone?
You do not-
Thank you. I thought we had a free phone.
Thanks, I can't type that fast.
So I don't have to.
I thought I typed fast, but I.
Oh, yeah.